Hello, everybody. Game one is in the books, and here's a rundown on the scores from opening day in the NBA Retro League. I'm going to turn it over to my AI bot in just a second. He'll give you the scores. That will be Berto Jolliffe. But first off, I just want to point out a couple of things for this first game. Period. I did all the box scores this morning. That won't always be the case in the future due to time constraints. I have other things to do. As much as I love running this basketball league and producing the box scores, I have to allot only so much time for it each day because it is quite an involved process. To give you an example, this morning I got the results from FANTRAX by downloading them to my computer so that I could make a spreadsheet for each team. Then I have to format the spreadsheet and enter the simple formulas, and that takes a little bit of time. There's 12 teams, and it's a little time-consuming. This is done on Mondays and Fridays when the previous game period is over. Normally, I produce an average of 2 box scores per day. It just depends on how much time I have. I could do more in a day, maybe even less. Maybe some days I'll do none, but I will always complete all the game scores before the next period begins. So, spoiler alert, if you don't already know the results for Game 1 and you want to see them for yourself, you should go to the website and check the message board post titled Period 1 Box Scores and Standings, and you will find everything right there, all the details for each box score. So, without further ado, I will turn it over to my AI bot for the rundown. He's got the salesman voice, so I'm going to let him take care of this part of it, and I'll have a final word after the scores.
It's got 19 fantasy points from Zion Williamson and 14 from Josh Giddey, as San Diego avoided an upset on opening day. The Saints were without Josh Hart and Daniel Gafford, but they were still able to survive the heat checks, who got 16 points from Azar Thompson and Ron Holland. The Fort Wayne Pistons breezed past the Alberta Cowboys 131-111. The Pistons got 28 fantasy points from their big man Giannis Antetokounmpo and 22 apiece from Benedict Mathurin and Anthony Edwards, while the Cowboys countered with 23 big points from RJ Barrett and also got a solid performance from Keyshawn George, but it wasn't enough to match up with the red-hot Pistons. The Boston Celtics drew a favorable matchup on opening day facing the short-handed New York Knicks, winning easily 114-73. The Knicks failed to log 240 minutes in the game, which spoiled a strong performance from their star Anthony Davis. The Celtics were led by center Alperen Sengun, who scored 29 fantasy points in 48 minutes. Point guard Davion Mitchell added 19.6 of his own for Boston. The defending champions looked anything but on opening night, losing badly to Philadelphia by a final score of 137-100. Nikola Jokic struggled in the game, logging 41 minutes and scoring just under 20 fantasy points. A solid score for most players, but subpar for Joker. Franz Wagner, playing small forward for the Copperheads, added 17, and Evan Mobley had 14. Tyrese Maxey, the starting point guard for the Sixers, was red hot with 26 points, and Jalen Johnson added 19.6. Modest Buzales had 16 of his own, and Michael Bridges was also a key contributor with nearly 19 fantasy points. But it was the unexpected dominance of center Walker Kessler for Philly, scoring 27 fantasy points in the rout. The Poway Eagles and the Denver Nuggets had a shootout on opening night, with the Nuggets barely escaping the Eagles by a final score of 131-130. DeMar DeRozan led the way for the Eagles with 25 fantasy points in 37 minutes. Also contributing for the Eagles was Austin Reeves, who played 36 minutes and scored nearly 19 fantasy points. Stephon Castle, the second-year guard for Poway, added 16, and veteran Kristaps Porzingis had nearly 16 fantasy points in 26 minutes as well. The Nuggets were led by their young center Victor Wembanyama, who scored 37 fantasy points in 30 minutes. He was the player of the week. Ja Morant added nearly 23 points in 29 minutes. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander shook off a bad game on Tuesday night with a big performance on Thursday and ended up scoring 27 fantasy points in 46 minutes. While this was a big win for the Nuggets, who are a title contender this season, there was no shame in the loss for the Eagles, who proved they can stand toe-to-toe with one of the best teams in the league. And finally, it was the Warriors with the performance of the week as they blew away the Rockets by 54 points, 152-98. Luka Doncic was going off as he scored 36 fantasy points in 41 minutes. Nikola Vucevic added 26 fantasy points in 33 minutes for the Warriors. The Rockets had little to be encouraged about other than Scotty Barnes' 24 fantasy points and 32 minutes. And it appears Houston has much work to do if they are going to contend for a playoff spot this season. This has been an NBA Retro League scoreboard report.
So that's the scoreboard report for opening day. Again, in the future, I won't be doing all the games in one day. I will average 2 games per day just because it does take a lot of time. This was opening night, so I wanted to just get everybody's score out there. I know everybody was excited about the beginning of the season, so that's why I did this today. But it is very time consuming. I mean, from downloading the stats to doing the box scores to posting the results and then doing a video, it does take quite a bit of time, and I want to make sure that I have time for other things that I have to do. I can be busy at times. Other days, we have a lot of time on my hands. You just never know. But it's better if I just do 2 games a day, and that way I can just kick out a quick video like this. It'll be a way quicker than this video, but it won't take up, hours. And I am getting a new computer set up this next week. I'm making a big move across town, not very far, just in my neighborhood, but I do have to move all my stuff to a new place. And everybody knows how bad moves are, how lame that is. So I'm going to be kind of bogged down with that for the next week because once I get into my new place, then I've got to set everything up. Got to put my desk together and my computer and get it all up and rolling. It is a new computer, and I think that that should help me kick things out quicker as well. But I don't want to ramble any longer. Good opening week, a lot of surprises, and I really do like these shorter game periods because it is going to produce some of these crazy results, some of these up and down results, which is what we see in real life. All right, guys, good luck in your games this week. The next round will be due on Monday, and I'll probably only do 2 games that day from this that we're entering right now. I will do 2 games Monday, 2 Tuesday, and 2 Wednesday. Maybe stretch it out to Thursday, but they will all be done by the time the next games are due. All right, talk to you all later.